Okay. Here we go. All right, so we're gonna get started. And we're gonna start in child's pose today. So this is the winter solstice. So happy winter solstice. And which I love, actually. I love the winter solstice more than the summer solstice, because you know things are going to brighten up, right? Very metaphorical for that today. Things are going to brighten up. So we will honor the longest day of the year, which is, winter's a time of hibernation. It's retrospective time. But we know what comes from the winter is we get longer days, and we get to celebrate that opening up to the summer, towards the summer solstice. So this practice will give you a little bit of that, right? And in a sense, maybe you can think of it a little yin and yang. So we're going to start in child's pose. And as you're coming into your child's pose, make it, as always, you want to make child's pose really comfortable. But especially when you're first starting your practice, and maybe the hips feel really tight or the back feels tight, and just the breathing takes a bit to feel comfortable as you're folded over the legs. So maybe start child's pose out with a little wider, knees wider, opening up a little bit more as you bow over the legs. And if you want more of a heart opening in your child's pose, of course, take it with the arms extended. If you want more of a inwards withdrawing into the posture, you would either stack the hands to rest your head on, or the arms would come alongside the body. So whatever you choose, just find your child's pose and begin to establish your breath, connecting to it. As you're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, feeling the movement. In child's pose, we feel a little bit more emphasis in the back ribs as they expand, as opposed to always being either on our backs or upright, that we feel more the either linear, like the side expansion, or the front expansion. We don't think much about the back expansion. But child's pose gives us that time to reflect on the back expansion. Expansion. And as you're tuning into that rhythm, as always, we're going to let go of feelings of competition and judgments, expectations. We'll remain present in our practice, and we can listen to the body and honor the body at all times. And always doing what you can do in your practice. So really honoring that, how you're feeling today. So sometimes when we're getting into this time of year, especially as this moves into the holidays, and now we've got on top of that, we've got this isolation, right, that we experienced due to the pandemic, and we're all staying home, and we may not be celebrating as we would. So that creates more of this inward feeling, right? This withdrawing feeling. So we're actually going to really honor that today, and at the same time looking forward to opening up. So maybe set an intention for the winter solstice, or just setting an intention to how you're feeling in your practice today, or just how you're feeling today, and what you want to feel coming out of it when you're all done. We'll take a couple more breaths here. And we'll go ahead and come into extended child's pose. And you can keep the knees wide or keep them closer in. You can adjust a little bit, so you can shift up and then shift on back. Let's bring in the arms forward and just walk the hands up as far as they'll go, and then just start to walk your hands over to the right edge of the mat. Give a little shift of your side over to the left, And then let's take that, walking over to the left edge and maybe shifting a little bit to the right. And we'll come back to our center and come right up into a tabletop position. So we'll stack the shoulders over the wrists and adjust to get the knees underneath the hips and begin to move through cow and cat. And cow and cat really gives us that duality of opening up and closing in. So, right, we're dropping the belly and we're opening up as we look forward, and we're exhaling to turn inwards into our cat stretch. And we'll take just one more round here. And we'll release, and we're going to drop back into child's pose, coming into extended child's pose, so the hands will stay forward. We're going to take one modified vinyasa, inhaling into modified plank as we shift forward. Exhaling as we lower and the elbows come to the ribs. As we start to release the chest towards the mat, lower all the way down as you inhale to a low cobra. And let's tuck the toes and go right into downward facing dog. And pedal out down dog. Start to really stretch into the backs of the legs. Where you're feeling that through your calves, your ankles, and the hamstrings, even shifting your hips side to side. And if you're still pedaling out, go ahead and release both heels towards the mat. When you come to your next inhale, sweep your right leg back. And you can start to open up the hip a little bit here. Maybe start to bend the knee. Inhale, stretch back. Exhale, down dog. And let's take our left side. Inhale up. And start to open that up a bit more, maybe bending the knee. Keep your foot flexed if you're bending the knee especially. Inhale, stretch it back. Exhale, drop back into child's pose. And this child's pose, do what you want. You can do it as you did in the beginning, or you can keep the arms extended, whatever you feel comfortable with. Let's go ahead and come back up into downward facing dog. And we're just going to shift between down dog and plank. Inhale to plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Let's take 3 more. And the last one, we're going to shift forward. We're going to hold this one. You can always modify knees down. Exhale, push it back into down dog. And again, let's return to child's pose. Taking about 3 to 5 breaths here. From child's pose, we'll return to downward facing dog. And from down dog, we're going to walk the feet out, coming into forward fold. Half lift on your inhale, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. And let's bring the hands to the heart. We'll take a breath here. And we're going to take 3 sun salutation A's. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, hands to shins. Let's exhale to plank. We'll take an inhale and plank, and then exhale to lower. Inhaling cobra or upward facing dog, and exhaling back into downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here. Inhaling as you come forward. Exhale, let it fold in. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. Then again, let's just bring the hands to the heart. Take a breath. Here we go, another one. Inhale up, this is number 2. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, let's take it back to plank, and you can take one long exhale in this one and bring yourself down through chaturanga. Inhaling into your cobra or upward facing dog, and exhaling back into down dog. With your next inhale, take your gaze forward. We'll start to bump it up a little bit. Come to the balls of feet, bend your knees. Inhale to the top as you lengthen out your spine. Take your time. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a breath. And we'll do the last sun salutation. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, back to your plank. So again, you can hold in your plank for a breath, or you can just lower right on down as you finish your exhale. Inhale to your cobra or up dog. Exhale back. Downward facing dog. Well, we're going to hold about 2 breaths longer than we've been doing, so roughly about 5. Feel free to take child's pose instead. From our down dog, let's take our gaze forward, lift to the balls of feet, bend your knees, and exhale to the top. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Hands to heart on your exhale. Good. All right, so we'll move through a little standing sequence. Oh, I should have said, if you need a block, we're going to do balancing half moon in the sequence, so if you need a block, this would be your time to go grab one. And we will get ourselves started. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold in. Half lift on your inhale, flatten out your back. Exhale, fold. We're going to step the left leg back, and we're going to open this right up into warrior 2. And actually, I'm going to face this way so I'm more in line with you. So we got the right leg forward, and we're in warrior 2. So you're going to ground to the outer edge of your left foot as we start to really begin that release into the right hip, and staying really strong in this foundation. Keep your right knee tracked over the ankle and the pinky toe side of the foot. Arms are active as they're reaching out, but shoulders are relaxed. So as we move through this practice today, we're not doing like a quicker vinyasa. We really want to take time in these postures to work the muscles, working in the strength and the flexibility. So the strength comes from holding these postures just a little bit longer than usual. And always, if it starts to get a little bit uncomfortable, you're just going to straighten your leg and you can come right back into the lunge, or you let your arms drop and you come right back into the arms reaching. So we're going to take about 3 more breaths here. Let's go ahead and move this into reverse warrior. And as we start to reach this up, we're gonna go ahead and straighten the right leg just to give it a bit of a break, and we're gonna get that deeper stretch over our right side. We're gonna reach it over a little bit more. Keep reaching, and when you come to your next exhale, bend the right leg again. So you're going into your lunge, and you should feel a little bit more open in the hip. We're going to return to warrior two. Straighten the leg again. And then bend the leg again. So we're going to reach the arms back, clasp your hands, and then turn like you're going to do warrior one with a chest expansion. That's exactly what this is, a warrior one with a chest expansion. But you may want to adjust your back foot a little bit so you can get your hip to shift forward. We need our left hip forward. Inhale, open the chest, and exhale. Let's come forward as we bow over the right knee. And if you're comfortable with this, you can tuck your shoulder inside. If that feels like that's too much, you just stay hovered over as you bow over the leg. If your arms are getting tired or your shoulders are beginning to hurt, you can just take the hands to the forearms and just squeeze your shoulder blades together if that feels better. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. Now with your next exhale, go ahead and release the hands. We'll straighten the right leg again. Like we're in a pretty deep pyramid. If you have your block handy, you would want to use your block. Now we're going to move this into balancing half moon so we can open back up. So we'll step our left foot in, bring the hands forward, pop the left leg up. Your block is to the right hand, to the outside about 6 inches in front and to a bit of the right. As you open up, left hand can go to the hip, can just go around the back. The arm can reach to the ceiling. Flex your left foot. If you want a little bit more challenge in this posture, slowly turn your head. So you're going to look up. Oh, I've just noticed I cut my head off. Let me get back into my balancing half moon. There we go. Oops. That's what I get for changing my balance. We're going to take about 2 more breaths here. And let's exhale to release the left hand. Release your right foot to your left foot to your right foot. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, so let's take the other side. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold it in. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold as your right leg steps back. It comes down, and we're going to open it up into warrior two. So prepare, because we're going to hold it. We got about a heeled arch, and we want to really build the foundation in this posture. So the more we activate and we ground the outer edge of the right foot, and we're grounded into the sole of the left foot as well. And it should feel like you're pulling the mat slightly apart. And there's the action we need to really hold this posture. Keep your belly in towards your spine, tailbone towards the mat, crown of the head to the ceiling. Shoulders are relaxed, but the arms are active as they reach. Again, if you get tired, let your arms drop or straighten your left leg and just bend it again. Doing good. A few more breaths. All right, let's flip our left palm. Inhale, reverse warrior, and then straighten out as you're reaching over. Start to straighten your left leg. Give it a little bit more reach. Stay with that big stretch and then bend the left leg again into your lunge. Exhale as you return to warrior two. So bring your hands back, clasp the hands, and turn as you face towards a warrior one. And you want to adjust your right leg here so you can get the hip to shift forward. Inhale. As you reach and squeeze back, open your chest. Exhale as you bow forward. You're either over the leg, kind of hovering, or you tuck inside the knees, your shoulders inside the knee. And if you're taking that route, keep in mind, oops, losing my balance. If you're taking that route, keep in mind that you want to bring the body to square off to the front edge of the mat. So if you're bowed all the way over, it's easy to tend to just open that up. But you actually want to shift. So you're bringing your right hip to face towards the mat. So we'll exhale to release the hands, straighten the left leg. Use any block here that you need to kind of help your body into the posture, into this very wide-legged pyramid. I'm just going to scoot myself back a little bit so I stay in camera range. And we're going to start to prepare for balancing half moon. So we'll shift the weight forward. Block is underneath the left hand, over to towards a little bit outside the pinky toe, and about 6 inches in front. Right hand can come to the hip, can go around the back, or reaches up to the ceiling. Keep your right foot flexed. And then if you want that added challenge, slowly turn your head. Again, I cut myself off. You're turning up to either look forward or all the way up to the ceiling. There I am. Now I'm in range. So we're going to go ahead and release the right hand and let your right foot slowly release to your left foot into your forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's sweep the arms all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. All right. And I'm going to face you. You can stay facing the front of your mat, or you can turn to face the side. It's up to you. We're going to add a little balance here. So we're going to take, first we're going to come into chair, but then we're going to move from chair into eagle. So let me just grab some water. It's very dry in my basement, mainly because I get the heater was on for quite some time. It's kind of dry. All right, so we are going to be in our chair. Now you can do this with your feet together, so basically your big toes will be together and the heels are slightly apart, or you can keep everything about a hip width distance. That's a matter of preference for you. But we are going to take hands to the heart and we're going to drop the hips into chair. Letting your weight sink back. So you want to make sure that you can wiggle your toes. Now you can keep the hands to the heart before we come into eagle. You can keep the hands here, or you can reach them up into reaching up. You can take cactus arms if you want. You can just lower the arms a bit. Anything that really helps to open up the chest a bit more and really open up. So of course the higher you reach up also aggravates your lower back possibly. So don't do it if it aggravates your back. So let's take an inhale, circle sweep up, hands to heart, and sit back in your chair again. So now we're going to move this into eagle. Arms are going to reach forward, and we're going to take the right over the left. And we're going to balance left over right on the legs. So you want to cross all the way up at the thigh. You want to make sure your elbows are crossed over. You can also take hand to shoulder. And we're going to squeeze it in. We're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Inhale, start to come up, and exhale to release it out. Shake things out a little bit, catch your breath. So it's very easy, I shouldn't say catch your breath, but it's easy to get dizzy when you do eagle. So make sure you're feeling very comfortable to do the second side. So when you're ready, inhale the arms up, exhale hands to heart, sit back in the chair. And let's take the arms forward. And now we're going to take left over right with the arms. And then we go right over left with the legs. And squeeze it in. Get everything as tight as you can. If you do have a block with you, and eagle is a challenge balance, you can always make sure the block is underneath the leg that's crossed over, so your foot can actually tap on the block and it can be right there. All right, let's inhale, rise up, and exhale to release it out. All right, let's go ahead and shake that out. We'll come back to our mountain pose. And we'll make sure we're also going to be at the front of our mats again. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Walk your way back into your downward facing dog. And let's take one last vinyasa here. Inhale, pulling forward to plank. You can also bypass this if you don't want to do this. Exhale to lower. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale back into downward facing dog. As we come to our next exhale, we're going to release the knees and drop into child's pose again. From child's pose, we're going to come back up into tabletop, and we're going to do our cat-cow again. So come into your tabletop, get everything lined up, and let's take about 5 rounds of cow and cat. Inhaling into cow, and exhaling into cat. After this last round, we'll come to neutral. And we're going to take our right leg back and open up into a modified side plank. So make sure that you kickstand your left foot out a bit here to help stabilize your balance. Lift the right leg. Reach your right arm back and then bend the right leg. Now if you can reach to your foot or ankle, grab it. Otherwise, you're just going to keep reaching and pushing the leg back. Exhale, release, come back to tabletop. And we'll switch the other side. So I'm gonna just turn around so I stay facing you. Take the left leg back, kick stand your right foot out a little bit. Open up into your modified side plank, and then lift the leg. Reach your arm back, start to bend the leg, and again, you're either gonna stay here and just keep pushing the leg back to create that little back bend, or you're gonna grab, if you're comfortable, to grab your foot or your ankle. With our next exhale, let's go ahead and release and drop it into child's pose again. Inhale your way up onto your knees. We're going to do one last big push. Just really open up through the chest. And let me fix my knee there. And we're going to come into camel. So, of course, you know, if you're on a hardwood floor, double your mat up or get a blanket if you need a little support. So, as we come into camel, we want to really open up through the chest as we drop. Think of you're dropping your upper back as opposed to dropping the body back from the knees. So the hips stay above the knees. So let's just take the hands back like you've got back pockets. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, let your chest open up. Keep your hips gently forward. So it'll feel like you're pushing them forward, but they're just staying right above the knees. And then if you want this deeper into a deeper camel, you can just slide the hands down, maybe the backs of the thighs. If you find it's challenging to reach to your feet, if you've got blocks, use blocks, or come up onto your heels. And if you do reach the feet or the ankles and the hips drop back, you just gotta push them forward. And just go to where you're really comfortable on this. So I've got a funky left shoulder. So it actually is not comfortable for me to reach towards my feet. That puts a little bit too much strain. So I'm gonna stay with my back pockets and drop back. And if you're comfortable, listen to your neck where your head goes. So don't feel you have to drop your head all the way back. That may not be good for you. You know, if that feels really uncomfortable, you just want to keep either the head aligned with the spine or keep your chin tucked in, which doesn't put any pressure on your neck at all. And let's inhale to slowly rise up and release. And one more child's pose here. And let your back stretch out. From child's pose, we're going to slowly make our way up, and we're going to come to seated. We're going to take one seated posture, and it's going to be bound angle. Actually, make that two. We'll do a forward fold after this too. So coming into bound angle, bring the soles of the feet together, roll the shoulders back. Take an inhale, and then exhale. When you feel ready, just start to come forward. And you can come into this in the way that feels best to you. If you feel you kind of want to round and bow in, do it. If it feels better for you to bring your chest forward and squeeze your shoulder blades together, go that route. Do what feels right. Let's take our next inhale to rise up and the legs to come forward, and we'll take our seated forward fold. Adjust to your sit bones. Inhale as you're ready, reaching the arms, and exhale to fold it in. Always being mindful here of your hamstrings and your lower back. So any discomfort, anything that pulls too tightly, just bend your knees and take away some of that tension. Inhaling, we'll lift back up, releasing as we exhale. And then we'll make our way onto our backs. As you lower back, pull your knees in. Give them a little squeeze in your chest. Rock this out a little side to side. And let's go ahead and let the arms fall out to a T, adding a twist. We're going to drop the knees over to the right side. Turn the head to the left. Feel free to extend your left leg towards your right hand if that's comfortable for you. And just relax into your twist. So really there's no work in the twist unless you are reaching the leg. Then you actually put a little bit of engagement in the leg that's reaching. Otherwise, everything we completely relax. And we let gravity move us into the twist. We don't need to push it. Stay here just a little bit longer. With our next inhale, we're going to release our twist as we bring our knees up. And we'll exhale them over to the left side as the head turns right. Then, of course, that option to extend the right leg. And relax, fully let yourself go in the twist. A few more breaths here. With our next inhale, we're going to bring the knees up. And let's give them a good squeeze into the chest. Release the feet onto the mat. And we're going to come up into bridge. So probably should feel pretty easy to push up after doing camel. It's like pretty much the same idea. And we're going to, when ready, inhale and push the hips up. Now you can, of course, add a chest expansion or do whatever you feel like is good with your shoulders so you get more opening in your chest. You can also try walking the feet, just heel toe out. See if that helps your lower back open up a little bit more, or lift your heels up, which I love doing this. I think this feels so good. release slowly back down. Knees will come up again. And move this into happy baby. So whether you want the soles of feet together, your feet up towards the ceiling, any movement that'll feel good here. Let's take really good long exhales in this posture. Feeling that release, that big release into the hips and the lower back. And with our next exhale, we're going to release this as the knees come back into the chest. And hug in as close as you can. And we're going to curl the head and the chest up towards the knees and squeeze into a little ball. Keep squeezing. And then exhale, let your head release. Keep the knees in. With your next exhale, squeeze into your ball. Next exhale, release your head. Keep your knees into the chest. Just relax. And one last time. Exhale and curl up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Let's exhale, let it all release as the head comes down, the feet release to the mat, and then we're going to move right into Shavasana. So of course you can keep your feet on the mat and your knees together, or you can let your legs extend. Whatever you choose to do. Make sure the body is relaxed, can release, the mind can let go. If you set an intention at the beginning, maybe return to that intention. Noticing and observing any changes in the body, state of mind. And taking a moment to honor our practice of our winter solstice. And the changing of the seasons. Of course, if you want to stay longer in your Shavasana, stay as long as you like. If you're ready to come out, I'm going to wiggle out your fingers and toes. Deepen your breath. And then when you're ready, let's reach the arms up. We'll stretch out. Exhaling your knees back up into the chest. And making your way up to a comfortably seated position, wherever you want to get there. come up to seated. Sit up tall, lift it through your heart, roll the shoulders back. And closing our practice. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, hands to the heart. And thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.